What's happening, brothers and sisters in Christ? Today I want to talk about storms. We all go through them. We live in a world that's full of them, full of trial, full of suffering, full of storms. But are we faithful during the storm? Are we faithful during the storm? Or do we then proclaim God to be who he really is after he does the miracle? Do we believe he is who he says he is during the storm, during the trial, during the suffering? I want to look over at the book of Mark. We're gonna be reading from Mark chapter 4, starting at verse 35. It says, "On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, 'Let us go across to the other side.' And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was, and other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, 'Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?' And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Peace, be still.' And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, 'Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?' And they were filled with a great fear and said to one another, 'Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?'" Now it just got me to thinking, they were fearful, and rightfully so. It was a bad storm, and they were going through that storm filled with fear. But what caught my attention was the way that they approached him, was the way that they approached Jesus. They said, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" Right? To some regard, it sounds like an accusation, right? Like, you don't care. You're allowing this. Why are you allowing this? And I know that we all have moments of coming to God that way, and we should come to God raw, and we should speak unto Him raw, and speak as our true selves to Him. But it just made me think that how often do we do that? How often do we not ask in faith what's going on, or ask in faith, why is this happening? But instead, a lot of times it's out of fear and frustrations and anger. And I say that because if you look at the end of this passage, once he does the miracle, then they say, "Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" And as I stated in the beginning, like, how many times do we not mention the miracle that Jesus is until he does the miracle for us? How often do we claim him to be who he truly is during this storm? Now, I know some of us more than others, and I know some of us, if you're like me, I catch myself sitting in fear and sitting in frustration and sometimes even doubt and wondering, I thought you said that you were going to show up. I thought you said that you were going to provide. And Jesus shows us here that he's faithful, that he loves us and that he wants to help us and that he wants to be there for us. Even when we don't come to him with with that genuine faith that, like, I'm here for a reason, I'm here for a purpose. Just another example of him loving us regardless of how we operate. He still loves us, and he still wants to be there for us, and he still wants to get us out of that storm. But it just made me think that what if we just started asking in faith? What if we just asked from a loving heart? Why am I in this? Why do you have me going through this? I don't understand, but I know you'll get me through this. Even though I don't understand, I trust you. And I know you're faithful, and I know you'll keep your promises because you are who you say you are. Instead of, I'm tired of this. Do you not care about me? Do you just want me to suffer? You just love allowing this to happen in my life, don't you? Right? Like all of the I would even say condescending things that I would say sometimes. And again, like, I'm supposed to be raw when it comes to talking to Christ. I'm supposed to be raw when it comes to talking to the Father. I'm supposed to be raw in myself. But I think at some point it's important to remain faithful. I know you're gonna take care of me regardless of what this storm looks like. When you're ready to, calm it for me, please. because I feel like I can't hold on no longer. And he will calm it. You see that he calmed it when it was said to him a different way than that. So he'll absolutely calm it if we come to him in faith. Ask in faith and we'll receive. So it just baffled me. And then besides that, the the selfishness that came out of the disciples in that moment. He had just spent he had just spent all day doing miracles and uh uh and he's tired. You have to imagine the amount of sleep that was sacrificed from Jesus Christ to continue to fulfill his father's desires. And so he was just asleep. That's how you know the man was he was asleep through the storm. And and they were so selfish that they felt like in that moment what they were going through was way more important than what he may have had planned. And I think oftentimes we can be that way too. Um, I'm going through a storm and it's all about me. This is all about me. This is all about me. You know, and sometimes I can feel like he's not present. You're not here anymore. Where are you? But like, what if I just took the time to get out of my selfishness and I really sat in that for a moment, sat in that struggle, and really just asked the Father, what do you want me to do for your kingdom's sake in this moment? I know I'm going through a storm. I know it's tough, but what can I do for your kingdom's sake? Instead of sitting in the selfishness because I'm fearful. And then based on that, I blame you as if it's your fault. God allows everything, but for a purpose because he loves us. So my prayer today is that we would humble ourselves a little bit and that we would come from a place of love and vulnerability and present ourselves to Christ like children, have the faith of a child. Let him know that you're worried. Let him know that you're bothered by it. Let him know that you feel like you can't take it anymore, you can't do it anymore. But also remind yourself and let him know that he's faithful, that he'll get you through it no matter what. So even though it seems like it's tough right now, nothing can take the victory that he's already had in our lives. No matter the suffering that we're going through, no matter the trial or the storm, he will calm it. And even if it doesn't feel like that storm is calmed in this lifetime, we have hope that we get to receive that calmness that it talks about in Revelations. There will be no more tears or pain. There will be an ultimate calmness from the storm and relief from the storm if we would just hold on, if we would just buckle down and hold fast to Christ. I love you guys. God bless.